Well, that's embarrassing. That didn't work out very well, did it? Hey, you guys.
Hey,
Here we
you
are.
guys.
We are back after a short break. And let me tell you, it was all for a good reason because we were trying to bring some great artists to the forefront for you guys to take a peek at. And back from a long stay away is my homegirl. She's DJ Lotus. Hey,
She's ready to say my nickname. You guys, we are interviewing today Futuristica's DJ Simon S. and the most beautiful Deborah Jordan. Hi, you guys.
Hi.
We're so happy to have you on. I feel like I've known you all for 100 years. It was actually, Deborah is my sister from another mister, actually.
Undoubtedly.
So let me just say this. So since we are having you on here and you guys are in the UK, I know you guys have heard DJ Lotus and I like ranting and raving about Futuristica music. Who artist, that artist. I do want to give you guys a chance to kind of like just do a quick intro. That would be fantastic. Like who you are, for those that don't know, because they're gonna know today, right?
Yeah,
I think so. Okay, so Futuristica Music is a London and then UK-based independent record label specializing in soulful music, whether that's kind of got a jazz tinge, a hip-hop bent, just soulful music. And very family-orientated, so it's a very tight-knit group of people that we work with that we all love.
Love is important.
Yes.
Love is key. Love is key. And so DJ Simon S., who do you have sitting with you?
So this is Miss Deborah Jordan.
Don't make me laugh.
the most beautiful songstress.
Yes.
Deborah Jordan. She is literally my favorite.
And Dilla Dog.
And our latest signing, Dilla Dog, in the background.
Dilla!
I love it.
Oh, I love
When
Dilla.
you photobomb at some point.
You need to get into the action if that's okay. He's our mascot.
He's welcome. What instrument does he play?
He's proficient in double bass, actually.
I actually play the bass, if you didn't know that, Simon. I'm not great at it.
Really?
I have a beautiful bass. I'll send you a picture. I'm not great at it though. So
Wow.
maybe I can get in on your one of your
Definitely.
your
That's no joke.
We need some
Let me
bass
know.
solos.
Please.
So 15 years for you guys.
That's right. Happy 15-year anniversary, you
Thank
guys.
Absolutely. How did you get started, Simon?
Oh, wow. Well, I had a conversation with a friend many years ago, 30 years ago. And he said, what's this? You keep gathering people's demo tapes and stuff and just, what are you thinking about? I said, I don't know. It just feels like I need to gather all this music together. Not like a DJ, like something else. I didn't know. And he said, you need to run a record label. So it's a long time ago. And I left that idea for a long time. And then, I had to create a record label through necessity when I was in a group back in the day to release our music. So, that's how it really started. And I've never left it alone.
You started off actually traveling as a DJ, correct?
Yes. was a DJ and I traveled a bit with that. Yes.
And
So
that's how it all
talking
got started.
talking about you being a DJ, I was sharing with you earlier, but I'm going to share with the rest of everyone else. I stalked Simon on YouTube, you guys. It's worth doing. And I found some of just the dopest mixes, just like get you up dancing, getting your jam on, your groove on. I was like, wait a minute, hold up. Let me find out. Simon knows how to do all these musical tricks up his sleeve, you know?
It's just, you know, it's just life, isn't it? It's life. It's life for me.
I think Bill is trying to call you out on that one.
The dog agrees. 1 second.
Apologies for the interruption.
No problem. He just wants to share his vocals. You know, we're talking about
That's it.
I've been trying to work with him, but he's a little temperamental when it comes to, you know, the exercises and stuff.
He's still trying to infiltrate the musical side of things.
Work on his key and his pitch a little bit, you know. He's a little
picky,
flat.
picky, right?
So Simon, you said music is life. That is you're so right. So many artists we've spoken to, and that's one of the things that they say when we say, like, what does music mean to you?
Yeah.
So you're like, and it connects so many people.
Yes, exactly. And that's, you know, that's what life's been for me, and I think for Deborah a lot of the time. It's just meeting, connecting through music, honestly, you know, just because you just feel that. I think it's the most honest way of meeting people.
Where do you find your artists? It seems like you are dropping something every week. I've never seen anything like it. Every week.
Amazing.
I can't. I'm like, okay, which song can I put on my set for, you know, Tuesday evenings on the radio? I don't see anybody else doing that. How do you do it so fast, and where do you find your artists?
I think we've got a lot of kind of co-projects within the group of people we work with, and we've had a lot of stuff kind of sat there on the back burner waiting for the right opportunities to launch. So we like to give some of the main artists a lot of space. So then we have a few things backed up to then give them the space. So sometimes it comes out in a burst, and I think recently that's what's occurred.
I found it really interesting as I was like looking through like the different music and stuff that you guys really are a family. Everybody supports everyone. I'm looking at who's doing what and who's on this song and on that song, and it's incredible to have a group of people that really do blend like that and have that kind of support for each other. So I commend you for being able to cultivate that family there, Simon, and Deborah.
Exactly. Well, I think
Deborah, yeah.
That's the thing.
I am unofficial A&R.
She is.
All right, yeah.
I have brought a few people in.
Indeed, she has.
Speaking of, is Georgie Sweet one of yours? Did you teach her in singing? I mean, do you teach at her school, or I know she's in college, right?
Oddly enough, today is the anniversary of my first performance with Georgie. When she was in school, I was blessed to be invited in with another music worker to do a project with a small group from a local school, and Georgie was one of those girls, and she stood out immediately. But at that time, it was a kind of different kind of project, and luckily, I got the opportunity to kind of form another little youth choir for a project with Robert Mitchell and Panacea, who I sing for. And we were doing a great big choral project called Invocation. And as soon as Robert said he wanted a youth choir involved, I knew the guys at that school would be great for it. So we went back in, and Georgie was still there. So I was like, hey.
You had to grab her. You definitely had to grab her.
And luckily, we bumped into each other after a little while locally, and she was with her mum, and mum just came up and said, do you do singing lessons? Can Georgie come to you? And I said, of course, I would love that. So not that she needed teaching, she just needed confidence building and somebody to share her passion of music with, because none of her friends were into the same kind of music. So she finally had found a little tribe where she felt she could express herself and really kind of enjoy the music that she loved. And we kept showing each other, you know, different bits and kind of, well, have you heard this? You need to learn this and you need to work with that. And then she found her own groove and started writing, and lo and behold, we have an amazing new artist on our hands, and she deserves it. She's just incredible.
She is awesome. She is so awesome. How did you get started? How long have you been singing?
I was going to ask that. Yeah.
Oh, long time. Long time. Grew up with music in the house.
Before you answer that, let me just ask you something. I read somewhere something about you being classically trained. Is that correct? And that not only are you a classically trained singer, but you're a flautist also? You play the flute? So give us the juice behind that, okay?
Well, I grew up with music in the house because my dad was in a rock and roll band when he was young, and his career didn't quite go to plan. So he kind of came back to the UK from Italy, where his career was happening, and gave up on music basically. But we enjoyed music in the house. I then was forced to play the violin initially, which didn't go well. So I then kind of became a little bit more demanding and said, you know, the flute could be my thing though. So I got a flute for Christmas, and trained classically in flute, and thought that was going to be my career path. I wanted to be a classical flautist.
Wow.
And sang just for fun. But I joined the Bournemouth Symphony Chorus, so I got a lot of training thanks to them. So we were singing Verdi Requiem, Mozart Requiem, Carmina Burana, all the classics. It was just incredible. It was, you know, such a great training ground for me. And soul and all that stuff was the thing I just did for fun. And then I had a piano lesson, and my teacher said, you know, you're not a flautist. I was like, what? And he said, well, you're definitely not a pianist. That much I knew. I admitted defeat on the piano. But he said, you're a singer. You just admit it, you're a singer. And he'd never heard me sing. So I was like, well, how can you even possibly know that? Just trust me, you're a singer. Go be a singer.
Wow.
So then at university, after deciding that the flute thing wasn't really going to work out as a career, I focused on singing and started doing more jazz side of things as well. So yeah, kind of found my groove that way, really, but didn't get into writing until much, much later. And only really thanks to hooking up with Sai and producers that he was encircled by, like Kamara, who is amazing. And she's made more music. Just a nudge.
A little hard nudge.
Just those. So yeah, came to the writing quite late, but singing has just always been a passion. And I'm glad I kind of finally got to admit it and follow that path instead.
Where did all the soul come from? The UK. It's unbelievable. I was just talking to DJ Wazio about this. You all have so much soul. I know my mother has some soul, and it just makes me wonder, where does it come from? Where does this soul come from? Like, who influenced you?
I think in some ways I was lucky with having a dad who sang. So he was very much of the kind of Scott Walker type voice. Real deep, rich, and loved his rock and roll, that side of things. Mum, on the other hand, was the biggest Mina fan, who is an Italian singer who is just phenomenal. If you don't know her, check her out. She's just ridiculous. And then, of course, you know, I was growing up during the 80s, so I was like the biggest Spandau Ballet fan going. But I got my training through Whitney. You know, I just used to sing everything Whitney Houston could sing, and I had to be able to sing the same thing with the same inflection and what have you. So I just used to listen to so much music and try to be guided by what those singers were doing, I think. And I think singing anyway is something that is so personal. You know, you have to let your soul speak through your voice, because otherwise you're not really singing. You're making the right sounds, the right notes in the right way, but without that soul connection, you're not getting the message across.
Besides Whitney, who were some of the other? I'm sorry, Steph. I was going to just say, who were some of the other artists that influenced you?
I love Minnie Riperton. I mean, she's just more recent people, obviously Jill Scott, Erica, Amel Lahire, when that Groove Theory album came out, just amazing. Ella, Sarah Vaughan, you know, yes. Just as soon as you hear them, you're captivated and you're captured by the first note out of their mouth. You know, they could sing anything. Luther is like a huge inspiration for me.
Great.
Donny Hathaway. Frank Sinatra sounds ridiculous, but you know, I didn't.
No, Frank was my grandmother's favorite person. Yes.
Kate Bush, Bjork, Joni Mitchell, just anything and everything. It's like, I'm not somebody who just focuses on one particular genre and one particular style. It's like, I like to be inspired by anything and everything. As long as it's what I call good music for me. As long as it's good music, then I'm open. So anything and everything.
So when you were talking about, like, you know, the singing and like and all that, I'm trying to remember what exactly you said, but it triggered me thinking about today I was listening to some, like, probably some older music of yours, and the first thing that came to me is I was like, wow, her voice is, first of all, how many octaves? How big is that voice that you have? Because I've heard you sing like some low alto notes to like soprano notes, and I was like, when does this girl stop? And then you said Minnie Riperton was one of your people, and I was like, wow, she had a huge range. I was like, Deborah might be dibble-dabbling with that a little bit.
I really wish I had Minnie's range. Seriously, I'm not a whistler. I'm not a good whistler. That part of my voice is disappearing as I get older. Unfortunately, as women age, our voice tends to drop. So those lower notes are coming through a little bit more easily these days. So I'm trying to warm to them a bit more, because I've always been a first soprano. So I'm kind of trying to get used to the fact that it's coming down a little bit. But yeah, there's one particular video where I was doing a gig in Italy with the Live Tropical Fish, who I guested on their album. And I was actually in my mum's hometown in a venue there. And we were doing a cover of Children of the Ghetto, which is a Courtney Pine track. And somehow the spirit took me that day. And Minnie was around that day.
You had a mini takeover.
Yeah.
In that moment. Just
And somebody even commented on the video, I wish she would use this range more often. And I was like, so do I. I wish I could.
Yeah, some of the things that are out there that I was looking at, I was like, I really was blown away. And then I was listening to, I had to write down what the songs are. Ocean and Breath, I think it is. And the jazzy tones that you were hitting off of that. I think you were doing some background vocals on some of that, but I was sitting here and I'm going, who is this woman? So to have you here, and I'm like, really? She's really a real person. And she can do all of these things, because you can do all the things.
I just try. I don't guarantee that I can do them always, but I will try.
Beautiful. So I do hear a lot of jazz in some of the other things that you've done. Actually, even in some of the things here, there's like the little jazz inflection in there. And so what is that like for you when you're singing that? Because to me, when I hear jazz, people singing jazz and stuff, it is a story. But you have to know that story to sing that story, because it doesn't convey if you don't have that in you. So, give me on that.
I've been really lucky to be part of just the most incredible band called Robert Mitchell's Panacea for the past, what year is it now? 2021.
10 years.
So no, this is year 20 of being part of the band. Okay. And I have learned a lot, thanks to Robert and everyone who's been past, present member of the band. They took a real risk in inviting me to become the vocalist. Eska Mutungwazi was the singer, and she had to leave the band. And so suddenly tour dates, and I was like on the scene after having been run over. So it was kind of like, hi, Robert, I've been run over. I'm alive, though. And he was like, okay, come join my band. I was like, okay. I've never sung this kind of music before. And he's like, you'll be fine. I was like, really, though? Because his music is quite complex. But he has really taught me to trust in the story and trust in the music and allow the music to be that guiding force. So as we were saying about soul, you know, if you can't connect to the emotion, you can't tell the story. And the whole point of being the singer of the band is that we are the closest connection for the audience to understand the story, because generally we've got the lyric, and even if we haven't got a lyric, we've still got to convey that emotion through what we're singing. And being with Robert, and he writes not only very complex music rhythmically, but complex music melodically and lyrically. So there's a lot to get your head around when you're listening to his music. But what I always tried to do was to focus on, right, sing the melody, tell the story, make sure the listener can understand what it is that Robert wrote this music for, because otherwise I haven't done my job.
Yeah, it always makes me, when I was listening to that, and I've never been there, but you always hear about like Smokey Joe's Cafe and like the jazz artists that come through there. And I was sitting in my car and I'm like, oh, this really must be what it feels like, because like you were saying about the way that he wrote, the changes and stuff in there was just, and what he made your voice do. I mean, you really have, that's a tool. Your voice is a tool. I was sitting there going, listen to her. She's just like doing all the things.
I honestly didn't know I could do half of the things that I have done until Robert wrote them. He really challenges the voice, and he really does see you as another instrument. It's not just, you know, here's the pretty melody, or here's the pretty singer at the front, or whatever. It's, you are an instrument. You're going to be worked just as hard as the drums, the bass, and the piano, and you have to earn your place as well. You know, you have to step up and be willing to give as much as they do, and not just kind of go, okay, well, I sang the melody, I'll go and sit out the rest of the song. You guys get on with the improv bit, you know. And it's scary, because a lot of the time I didn't know what was going to happen on a gig. Robert would reharmonize things that we'd never, you know, practiced. It wasn't a rehearsal thing. It was just like, here, we're doing it differently. And you're like, okay, great. Let's try it this way and see what happens. But because we had such trust amongst the musicians, because obviously we've had personal changes, but we've been together as a band for 20 years, you get to know each other, and we know Robert's music and his writing so well that it enables us to give ourselves completely to what he's written, but also give ourselves completely. So you're allowing yourself to fully express in the context of somebody else's writing.
Gotcha. So I want to, when we talked about the feeling of things, we talked about this earlier, and I'm not going to just like sit here on it, but I want to thank you publicly for I'll See You Again, and knowing the story behind that song. You guys, let me tell you, if you don't listen to any other song, but you got to listen to all of them anyway.
Yes.
That song is a song of healing. It's a song of truth. It's a song, I mean, literally any person who listens to it will definitely be able to connect to it. Again, like I told you, this has been a hard year. I connected to it. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. And I don't know what part you did, what part Simon did, but it was a beautiful it's a beautiful piece, and I want to thank you for
it's one of my favorites, and I think that's one of the songs that Deborah and I kind of connected on because of our moms, you know, and I'm going to get all emotional, but you know, I know she wrote it in dedication to her mom, and with my mom, being in her condition right now. So, all right, I'm getting all emotional, but I love that song. But I can't listen to it too often because we
keep doing this.
I know.
we won't
get all emotional, but I want to thank you for that song too, because it means a lot to a lot of people, especially this last year. There's been so much loss. It's such a powerful song. So I don't know how you did it, actually. I know you said you cried through the whole time that you recorded that song.
It means so much to even have one person say that the song has connected for them and has meant the same as it does for me, for them. And if it can bring the slightest bit of healing to anybody else's soul, then I feel blessed beyond words, because it is the hardest song I have ever created and had to perform. And I can barely watch the video because it's too visceral and too real, and it just brings everything back to the surface, which is why I was crying all the way through the video shoot for 3 days.
Raw. It's very raw. It
is. And it was terrifying to kind of put that out there for everyone to see, because we're meant to be demure and together and glamorous and all that kind of thing, and there's me just a wreck, remembering how painful the whole process of losing mum and grief is. And we've since lost other friends, we lost Ty, and to be able to allow other people to tap into that energy and to release it for just the slightest second is a miracle. It's just a blessing. So grateful.
And being so vulnerable like that, it encourages other people, because then you don't feel like you're going through alone. It's like, you know what? I feel like my whole world is tearing up. Yeah. But wow, this person is acknowledging, because there's no book on grief. There's no book there are books, but everybody's
journey is individual. Yeah. Right.
So so again, that was beautiful. But I wanted to tap on one more little thing. And this isn't so much music. This is something in an interview that I read from you, and you talk about
what I said.
No, it wasn't anything bad. It was actually really good, because you talk about I'm trying to see, I had it in my your place by the sea. Someone came to visit you, and you talk about your place by the sea. And then I've seen so many pictures of like you guys by this beautiful, I'm not sure, you on is it the ocean that you're beside? Is that where your place is? Are you near those?
Yeah.
And it just peaceful. So, and I know that's you're in Simon's place. So can we talk about the Deborah Simon story by the sea? Can we get a little bit of this?
Well, the reason we're here is him, to be honest. I grew up here and moved to London to go to university and study music, and stayed in London because, there's the whole premise that for anyone to be a musician, you have to be either in London or, New York, the hot spots where you have great musical activity and what have you. So I stayed in London. Luckily, we got to meet through being both our bands invited to perform at a Giles Peterson gig. So I was performing with Silhouette Brown. So I was performing with Break Reform. And
Break Reform.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Break Reform. Heavy. So yeah, I then found out about Break Reform, and I was like, I think I need to do some work with with these people over here, because they're good. And exchanged cards, that kind of thing, and then met up at a studio, said, what are you up to? What are you up to? Maybe we should think about collaborating on something. And there you go.
Yeah. And then we said, that's all good. We'll do that for a few years. And then we left and moved to the sea.
Yeah.
It was like instant, but just, you guys are soulmates. Definitely. Yeah. Let me ask you, Deborah, is Simon hard to work with?
Ooh.
Is he tough on you? Is he tough on you? Or opposite?
You're getting this trick out here.
He's looking at the time like, is it time to go?
Wow.
What do I say? Interestingly, we don't actually tend to do a lot of work together.
Yeah.
Because I tend to go, right, leave, let me do my vocals. And I tend to write and record at the same time. So I'm just like, leave me to do what I need to do. And then once I feel like I've got something worth presenting, then I'll go, okay, you can come back in and have a listen and tell me how bad it is. And then he's like, what do you mean it's bad? It's good. I like it. Look. So he's actually remarkably easy to work with because I get rid of them. No.
And we don't do that much work together. If I'm honest, we don't do a lot of music together. We do things here and there, and but the majority of the people Deb works with, the producers, are guys in the family that she's worked with for years and years and years. But it's nice to just do a few things, step out. She works with some other people, and I can advise or suggest things. But yeah.
To be honest, I would not have created anywhere near as much music as I have were it not for Sai, because he has been such a support and a motivator. And he's always been the guy saying, come on, do this, go work with them, try this. You are good enough, and just making sure that I feel that I am able to involve myself in different projects or work with different producers. Although Sun Circle is obviously very close to my heart, given that that is where we tend to have our specific outlet for our connection, which is great. But I honestly owe it all to him, because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing in the way I'm doing it were it not for Sai. So
tell us about Sun Circle.
Yes, I was waiting for that to come up. Good job, DJ.
Your turn.
Sun Circle is a project. We did an album about 10 years ago, an early album on the label, just because we could, just because we thought, we should do some stuff together. Let's do that. And it was, it worked out okay, and that happened. But then we said to ourselves, we should do some more. And that was 12 years ago. Then 10 years ago, we said we should do some Sun Circle. And then about 5 years ago, we said we should think about doing some Sun Circle. And then this year, we said we really, really cannot put off doing any more music together. We have to do something. And a few things happened, got put together really quite quickly. And we just thought, well, we've got something small. We could, like an EP we could do. So we're going to put that out next week.
I am so excited.
Yes.
My message box is always open, if you want to if you need something, if you need us over here to,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Whether it's release work.
Get your ears on it. Let us know if you think it's actually worth playing. That's the first thing.
All your music is worth playing. I'm telling
Absolutely.
you, I said at one point, they're going to kick me off this radio show. Every single song I was playing was Future. They're probably thinking, is she working for, I've actually had people ask me that. Like, are you promote for? I was like, kind of, sort of,
Yeah.
But it's all very appreciated. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
I have to give DJ Lotus props, because she introduced me to that songbird and that DJ Magnificent beside you. And literally, you guys are addicting. It's just
yes.
The music, like you listen and it's like, I want more. What more can I get out of this? Okay, let's get some more. We need some more. We want more.
Next week they'll be dropping about 10 more next week. You know how every time I wake up, I go right to the page and it's like, this is new. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. It's great. I love it. I love it. And I love you guys. I love you guys so much.
We love you too. And we truly appreciate all the support, because, without you guys, there's no reason for us to make the music. It's like we will always make music regardless, because it's who we are. But to be able to share it with people who actually understand where it's coming from and why we do it, that is the greatest blessing.
Very important for us. Yeah, it's very important.
Well, you guys, it looks like our time has winded down. I want to thank you so very, very much. I want you to stay on though, but I want to thank you guys so very, very much for taking time out of your day, and with the time difference and all, with you guys being there, what is it, 5 hours apart difference? You guys are 5 hours ahead.
Yes, all good. It's like it's 5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that just means the world to me that you know, we're just little fish in the pond, and you guys are like the big pond. So we just appreciate you so much, and thank you for coming. And
Thank you.
Thank you for blessing us and honoring us.
You guys. Thank you.
all right, and you guys, we will see you next week with another Futuristica artist, Miss Georgie Sweet. It should be super exciting. Never disappointing. Futuristica music. You guys have a blessed week.